Hello, friends, and welcome back to Curiosity Studios at the Pacific Science Center in beautiful downtown Seattle. My name is Michael, and I am so happy that you could be joining me at the Pacific Science Center's Curiosity Studios. As you can see, I'm not at the stage this time. That's because I decided to go into the back rooms of the studio to bring you something extra special for our final early childhood program this week. We are going to go into a virtual planetarium. And I want you to start thinking about all of the different things we can explore together inside our virtual planetarium. Go ahead and share those thoughts and those ideas and say a quick hello to my friend Zita, who is on the YouTube chat. She can help you share, explore, and have fun as we explore more about outer space. Just a little quick reminders about how to make this program really successful to share, explore, and have fun. It's really helpful if you have an adult friend in your room, like a parent or a guardian or an older brother or sister. They can help you interact with us on chat. It is awesome when you ask us questions. We love questions. That's what science and curiosity is all about, asking questions and looking for those answers. Please let us know our names, and just to let you know, we're going to do this program for about 20 to 30 minutes. With that, I think we're ready to explore our curiosity. And friends, well, a lot is happening these days, and I'm spending a lot of time at home. And that made me curious, well, where is home? What is included in all where I live? For example, I know I live in my room, and my room is a part of a building. And if you put a bunch of buildings together along a street, then I have a street. And then if I put a bunch of streets together and I add some things like a coffee shop and a post office, maybe a place to worship, then with all of those houses around that street, I have a neighborhood. And then if I take that neighborhood and I add more neighborhoods, oh, now I have a city. And then if I have an area that has lots of cities and maybe some farms and some places that we could grab resources for those cities, that adds up into an entire state. So when I'm thinking about being at home, Washington State is my home. But Washington is just one out of 50 states in the United States of America. And so my home also includes a country. An entire country, the United States, is my home. But if you think about it, there's more countries out there. If we add Canada and Mexico and Belize and Nicaragua, well, those all add up to a continent, a big body of earth that people live on to create homes in their own communities. So my continent, my home, is North America. But if we add South America, then we are taking up half of the planet. And that's what we call a hemisphere. We live in the Western Hemisphere. But if we add the other hemisphere, we get an entire planet. And now my Earth, my home, I can say that I live in Seattle, Washington, United States of America, on planet Earth. The Earth is my home. But friends, is there more to my home? Is there other things besides where I live, where I could call home, besides planet Earth? I think I'm wanting to really explore that idea. And to do that, I think it's time for a great story time we have lined up. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Slugs in Space. All right, friends, let's get ready for our story time and let's follow the adventure of these two slugs. Two slugs sat together in really bad weather. So stormy you wouldn't believe. Then Sylvia Slug gave a sigh and a shrug and said, We should pack up and leave. I am tired of the rain. It's causing me pain. It's cold and so very wet. But then her friend Stan said, I have a plan. I'll solve our problems, yes. Stan happened to mention his brand new invention, the intergalactic skateboard. Let's get out of this place and fly into space. Come on, Sylvia, climb aboard. We could visit a spot that is really bright and hot. Oh, that sounds like a fabulous plan. We could sit by the bay, roast hot dogs all day, and then I could work on my tan. So let's think, something out in space that is really big, hot, and bright spots. I wonder where Stan and Sylvia might be going. Well, friends, I suppose there's only one way to find out. Oh, the sun will be great. I just cannot wait to feel all the heat in the air. Then Sylvia cried, oh, the sun will be fried. The heat is too hot for us there. Our sun is a star at the center of our solar system. Didn't you know? We can't fly to a planet in space, where we could still see our sun's glow. Oh, friends, we can't land on the sun. There's no surface or anything like that. And it is so hot, so incredibly hot on the surface of the sun that it brings all of our light and warmth to our planets. So this wasn't a good spot. I wonder where they will go next. Okay, let's find out. Sylvia, have no fear. Mercury is near, the planet that's first from the sun. It's tiny and small and round, like a ball. We could have a whole bunch of fun. Stan, I think you're wrong. We just don't belong on a place that's so close to our star. The daylight's so hot, it could burn up your snot. And nighttime so cold, it's bizarre. Friends, that's a really weird and interesting idea that Sylvia brought up about Mercury. It is the second hottest planet during the daytime because it's so close to the sun. But it's also among the coldest planets at its nighttime because there's no sunlight to keep it warm. So Mercury's out. I wonder where Stan and Sylvia might go next. Do you have any ideas? Oh, well, let's see if you're right. I like this next spot. It's gassy and hot. Venus could be just for us. I'm not so sure, Stan. I don't want to land. That gas can be quite dangerous. Oh, friends, if you take a deep breath, you could fill your lungs and fill your body with the oxygen of planet Earth. And it's nice and so toasty and comfy to do that. But when you breathe out a different gas that's not good for your body. And that's the type of gas that is covering Venus. So Venus is not going to be very good. I wonder what's next in our solar system tour. Any ideas? Oh, okay, well, let's see. There's Earth to the right. It's green, blue, and white with oceans and large chunks of land. But I want a new place in space with weather and air I can stand. So this was our home. This is a place in the planets we call home. And they're out looking on an adventure in our solar system. So let's move on to the next planets. Ooh, that's Mars up ahead, so pretty and red. You know, we sent some robots there. There are mountains and ice and channels, oh so nice. But Stan, we can't breathe the air. All right, and I see our friend Farkas is back and was excited to see Venus. And so Farkas, after they visit Mars, what planet do you think that they might be traveling to? Do you think it might be a good planet for Sylvia and Stan to explore together? Oh, Farkas, that's a great idea. Let's see if we can find out what that next planet might be. Here, Sylvia and Stan, go. It is Jupiter, Farkas. Jupiter's size is quite a surprise. It is the biggest planet around. Ooh, but that giant red spot is a huge storm, I thought. Oh, I don't like the way that sounds. That is a giant red spot. It is a giant hurricane, just like the one that's landing in Texas right now. But this hurricane is even bigger and more massive. It's the size of 2 planet Earths. That's how large Jupiter really is. It is a massive planet that you can see out in the sky tonight. So Jupiter wasn't the answer. Wonder where Sylvia and Stan might go next. Oh? All right, well, let's see. So let's fly to Saturn. It's the next in the pattern. Its rings are so very cool, but they're really just small rocks and some dust. Didn't you learn that in school? Oh, beautiful Saturn with all of its rings, the big wide rings made out of small pieces of ice that circle around that giant planet. So Saturn is out. You can't actually land on Saturn and you can't land on its rings. I wonder where they might go next. Do you have any ideas? What's the next planet in our solar system? What's the next planet in our home? Then to Uranus we'll go. Hey, look at it. Whoa. It is a planet so big and so vast. Hey, Mr. Space Guy. It's tipped on its side. I think we should just keep on flying past. Farkas and my friends, can you all make that observation of Uranus? Do you notice anything that makes you think that Uranus might be tipped on its side? It also has rings, just like Saturn. They're just a little bit thinner. But those rings are actually, well, they go up and down instead of around, which means that Uranus is tipped on its side, which means that it's kind of spinning like, sideways. That's really weird. What's the last place or last planet in our solar system that you think Stan and Sylvia could travel to? Okay, let's go ahead and explore. Well, Neptune looks good. I think that it could be the best, blue and so bold. I'm not sure, Stan. Can we change that plan? It's windy and so very cold. Oh, friends, Neptune is the last planet in our solar system. A series of planets that go around the sun, our star. And Neptune is exceptionally cold and exceptionally windy. The fastest winds we have ever measured are on Neptune. Neptune even has its own storm named Scooter. Can you look at this picture of Neptune and find Scooter? I'm looking for a big oval. That's what storms are kind of shaped like. It's like a circle, but a little squats into a shape we call an oval. And yet, I think I see some of you pointing at your screens, pointing at that oval dot. Nice, there's Scooter. So where can we go? I just don't know. Should we go to a different star? In all of that space, I think that our place is right here on Earth, where we are. That's a really good point, Sylvia. We've got mountains and ice. The air is really nice. I'm really much happier here. And with soils and trees and the rain and a breeze, I think the answer is clear. That in all of outer space, I think that our place is sitting right here in this weather. So let's stay where we are and just look at the stars and keep spending time together. So friends, I think that is a great idea because when I think about staying at home and being where I am, I think about how big and vast my home can actually be. It includes so much beyond my room and beyond my home and beyond my neighborhood and beyond my planet. There's so much of it to explore. But it's really important to stay safe at home. And so maybe the best way to explore our universe and explore our home that we live in and explore the Milky Way is by being backyard astronomers and observing the nighttime sky from where we live, whether it be a backyard or in our apartment or next to a park or somewhere else in our neighborhood where we can really see the stars glow. And you know what? As backyard astronomers, I could see deep into outer space and see some of those planets that Sylvia and Stan actually visited on their trip on the intergalactic skateboard. So let's go ahead and check out some of those features that we might see tonight. I really like that story too, Farkas. I thought it was a great one, and I'm so happy you're with me to help me explore the nighttime sky. So, Farkas, since you've been joining us with a lot of these planetarium sessions, please help me out and show off some of the features that we could see in the nighttime sky. I think that we are looking at this beautiful virtual planetarium that gives us an idea of what the nighttime sky might look like. And I could even fast forward time. So instead of being early in the morning, we are going to have the sun set and we're going to bring out the stars. And one thing that I thought about is when Sylvia and Stan were out, they talked about looking at all of the stars. You see, the sun is a star, and it has planets that go around it. It's your home star. But if we look at the other stars, we find that we are part of a Milky Way galaxy filled with stars with their own planets, their own different homes. And I really enjoy doing that. And one of the things that I like doing when I look at the stars, I like to play connect the dots. I like looking up at the stars and creating special shapes. It's kind of sparked my imagination about different stories we might be able to tell. So let's go ahead and do that, okay? Let's look at some of the shapes. Oh, for example, do you see this shape right here? Okay, so let me go ahead and draw it out. There's one star, maybe connected to that star, maybe connected to that star, oh, and it comes all the way around. Well, friends, what shape does that look like to you? Go ahead and share that in the chat feature with Zeta, and maybe we'll have different ideas about what shape that looks like. In the meantime, I'm going to look for other shapes up in the sky. Maybe if I look a little bit higher, a little bit over. Oh, I am not seeing my, oh, wow. Wow, if I look straight up in the sky, some of the shapes could be very, very simple. Like they could be triangles or squares. And I could come up with my own stories about that. Do we have any other, oh, friends, look over here. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kind of like does a nice little jigsaw. It's almost like a lightning bolt or an M or a W. You know, I really like the idea that it looks like a lightning bolt, kind of like it's the scar on Harry Potter's forehead. Or for our adult friends, maybe it looks like John Bon Jovi's scar. Well, let's go back to this one. Oh, I think that kind of looks like a spoon or a pot. You see, friends, lots of people have made observations and play connected dots with the stars. And they ended up creating what we call constellations. Constellations are shapes in the sky that we just see and make up. And that helps us tell different stories and tell different seasons about the skies. And so sometimes we might draw line drawings with our constellations, and sometimes we might even create artwork in the sky, where we might see two fish tied together with Mars right in between. Or we might imagine a horse with wings that could travel so fast it flies across the sky. And I really like Aquila, an eagle. Oh, look, there's a cat, a fox, and a dolphin, and a swan. There's an entire zoo up in the sky if we look and use our imaginations to create different stories. One of the reasons why we have constellations is because they help us map the sky. They tell us where things are at night. And friends, if you look out in the sky tonight, just right after sunset, and you might be even able to see them right before sunset, two really bright objects are going to be directly to the south. In fact, let's rewind time just a little bit more, just to show you where they are. Starting late this afternoon, you're going to start seeing the moon is going to come out. And just to the almost due south, and just to the east of the moon are two beautiful, bright objects. Those are those planets that are a part of the solar system, that are a part of your home. Right in between the two moon and the Jupiter is the band of the Milky Way, filled with hundreds of millions of stars with their own planets. This is the Milky Way galaxy. This is your home. All right, we had a special question. Does Leo, the lion, have a story? Leo the lion is a zodiac. And Leo the lion, if you're born in August, that means that's, well, you're Leo the lion. And that means that is because the sun is right on top of Leo right now. So in order to see Leo in our virtual planetarium, I'm going to have to take out our atmosphere and rise the sun so we can see what stars are out there in the daytime. There's Leo, and there's the sun right on top of Leo. And friends, what that means is that you can't see Leo the lion on your birthday if you're born in August. You have to wait 6 months later until you can see Leo the lion. And that's because the sun interacts with our atmosphere to give us those bright blue skies that we enjoy. But if I take away our atmosphere, now we can see Leo. Leo is up in the sky because he was the king of the animal kingdom. He was the biggest, toughest lion of them all. He was so strong, nothing could pierce his hide. Nothing could be stabbed. He was basically stab-proof and bulletproof, and he was mighty and strong. And he got in a big tussle with the strongest person who ever lived. He got in a big tussle with Hercules. Hercules had a bunch of challenges, and one of his challenges was challenging Leo the lion to a wrestling match. And the two wrestled and wrestled until Hercules was able to put Leo the lion into a big headlock, basically. Well, they were such great wrestlers, just like today when we give Olympians gold medals for their wrestling. Well, the gods would do something extra special. Instead of giving them a gold medal, they would give them a spot in the sky. Now, that's one story of Leo the lion. Another story is from Egypt. They didn't see Leo the lion. What they saw was a sickle, something that can actually carve out the wheat. And they used Leo the lion to track the season to know when to harvest. So you see this big scoop right here? That's what they would use to cut down the wheat to make their bread. And so that's just another kind of cultural story that you could make up of Leo the lion. My favorite is to look at Leo a little bit differently. Instead of this being his head, well, let's use our imagination. What if this was his tail? And then this was a pointy little nose with some whiskers and pointy ears? You know, friends, it kind of looks like the mouse that I have on my computer. Maybe it's not Leo the lion, maybe it's Leo the mouse. And maybe that's why lions are actually a little afraid of mice. So the important thing is, it's not necessarily the story, it's how do you remember your own story when you play connect the dots with the constellations. And I hear that Farkas is doing a great job of that, and I'm really glad that he's doing it, and I want to share that experience with other people about the idea that you could make your own constellations in the nighttime sky. And so, friends, I want you to encourage you to do that. Go to curiosity.org. PacificScienceCenter.org. Look for Curiosity at Home, where we have lots of different activities that you could try. Farkas is doing this activity right now, where he's using marshmallows and dried pasta and spaghetti to create his own constellations and his own constellation stories. If you need help with creating some stories, well, you can use your imaginations, but there's a lot of different cultures that have created constellation stories that they use today. And you can recreate some of those constellations. And I'm going to challenge some of you. Is it possible to make a constellation of some slugs? Maybe some slugs who visited space? Another great activity I really want you all to try is our shadow tracker. It's a really easy activity that you could do at home with just a piece of chalk. As the stars move across the sky or appear to move across the sky, so do our shadows. And you can actually measure how far your shadow moves over the course of an entire day just by tracking and creating your own shadows over time. And you can really, really see how far stars, the planets, the moon, and your star, the sun, have moved during the course of the day. This is another great activity. It helps us track time. It's basically the basis of sundials, watches, clocks, and everything that we use to track time. So please visit PacificScienceCenter.org and look at a Curiosity at Home page to find some great activities that you could do to explore your neighborhood, your home, our solar system, and the Milky Way. There's other ways that you can help us out. Zeta has a survey, because the more information we have about these programs, the better equipped we're going to be to support schools as they do distance learning this fall. So please give us some answers from the survey to, well, really answer some of our questions about how best to engage students in distance learning this fall. We always appreciate the donations. Well, I mean, essentially, I've got to pay rent. So any support, whether it be $10 or $10,000, is really appreciated to help us continue to bring programs like these and the activities that we have posted on Curiosity at Home for you to do at home. And then, of course, we want you to continue to share, explore, and have fun. Go to Curiosity at Home, find those activities, and Farkas, Max, I'm really looking forward to seeing that picture of the constellations that you make with those marshmallows and dried pasta. I really enjoyed your diagram of the solar system, so it would be great, awesome to see whatever constellation and the constellation story that you make with your adult friend at home. In the meantime, everybody, I want to thank you so much for joining me this summer for these early childhood programs. I have learned a lot. There were a lot of questions that I had at the very, very beginning of the summer, and I am so happy that I got a chance to explore these questions with you and really foster my curiosity. Now it's time for the Pacific Science Center to focus on schools and distance learning and share our curiosity, our love of curiosity with different schools across our states, across our home. And so you have given us such an amazing experience, and I want to say thank you for joining us this summer. This is going to be our last early childhood program through this format, but we are so grateful that we have learned a lot having you join us each week so that we could bring this to schools across Washington this fall. And so that with Zita and Jen and from me, I want to say from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for being a part of our community of curiosity. And with that in mind, there's a lot more for you to explore this fall. So everybody, stay curious.